Hello everyone, today's topic is
Budget must-haves.
Hello everyone and happy Wednesday and welcome to Pennies with a Purpose. I'm Willie Mullins
And I'm Anissa Mullins.
and we'd like to welcome Anissa back. She's been away and she's back. So today, as promised, we're going to talk about budget must-haves. So we're going to tell everyone about budget must-have. We have been talking about things you need for a budget, different types of budgets, and we've now delved into, and last week I spoke about what I call my budget killers. So this week we're going to dig into things you must have on a budget to go from month to month. You want to tell them what number one is, Melissa?
Well, the first one, of course, is some type of shelter, whether that be mortgage payment or rent payment. That is a must-have. Even if you are not living in a home that is your own, but you're living with someone, you still have to make sure that the shelter above your head is covered for financially. So mortgage and rent is the first one.
Okay, so mortgage and rent, and the other thing we want to say about that is not your second home, not your vacation home, but your primary home. That needs to be paid for every month. The second thing, after you have shelter over your head, you need food. So you need to buy grocery, especially if you have kids, if you're a mother, a father, or parents, you need to be able to take care of the kids. So this is not bubble gum, this is not candy, this is not treats, but this is food that you need for survival. So it'll be things like lunch,
Water. It all depends on your diet, of course. If you're a meat eater, of course, you would need to buy the necessary meats. If you're a vegetarian or a vegan, of course, you would plan your budget accordingly. And a lot of people have a problem with this area because they think that food is not something that should be budgeted. They think that if I like it, it's going in the cart. And then you look at your monthly statement and find out you spent $800 on groceries, and you've only actually eaten $300 of it.
right? That's true. So we're talking about just the necessary things. Probably going to keep reiterating that. We're talking about the necessary things you need in your budget. And moving along from food, we're going to talk about
Utilities.
So utilities are expenses like electric, telephone, not necessarily a cell phone. We have
Natural
gas,
water.
things you have to pay to keep the household going. Those are the utilities that we're talking about. There are other utilities that people have, but we're not talking about those. We'll speak about those a little later. So lastly, we're talking about
Your needed expenses, and stress the word needed. Car payment, and at some point we'll do a video on what percentage of your budget should go towards these things, housing and car payment. But of course, number one, the car needs to be safe. It needs to be reliable. So a BMW gets you the same place the way a Honda does. I know you probably get there in style, but remember that just because you can pay for the BMW does not mean you can afford it.
Right.
So your car payment.
So on top of the car payment, if you're going to drive around in a car, you must have car insurance. So please don't drive your car without insurance. That's dangerous to you and it's dangerous to me. So that's another needed expense that you will need to pay to get you from month to month. Car insurance. Now, Manisa was a single mom for quite a while. So the next item I'm sure she can definitely tell you about, which is
Daycare.
daycare?
If you have children and you want them to be safe, well taken care of, and for me, in a clean and sanitized environment, you're going to pay a pretty penny. You are. Daycares nowadays are not like Mama Sue and Bertha May daycares back in the day where the baby sat, in the house with an older lady and watched the stories all day long. Now they actually have curriculums where they do music and it's a whole different ball game. When my children were in daycare, it was $800 a month for 3 children. So that was back in the 90s. So I can't even imagine what it is now. And I will tell you that sometimes the choice is that either you have to stay with a family member and stay and not work until your children are school age, or you have to find a job that can accommodate the daycare expenses. But your children come first.
Yeah, exactly. So now some days, like Manisa was saying, daycare is as much as a car payment or even some house payments that people may have. So, and another thing she mentioned about maybe you have to stay at home. What we will find out while doing these budget and going through a budget and doing budgets is that are we bringing in enough income to really take care of our needs? And a lot of times we tend to shop beyond our needs without realizing that or checking to see, am I taking care of these must-haves? So we have to make sure that we are taking care of these must-haves.
Yeah, I remember as a single mom, I got to a point where daycare was I could not pay it anymore. And one of the things that my mom told me is you must be honest up front. And so as a teacher, I only got paid once a month, and I already knew that the most I could afford was $400. But I also knew that I could only pay that $400 at the end of the month. So I would go to the sitters and I would tell them, look, I'm a teacher. I get paid once a month. I'll need you to babysit my children, but I will only be able to pay you at the end of the month. And you will be surprised at how many people will open up their homes and your heart to you because they want to see you prosper and be successful. So when all else fails, just be honest and upfront and just trust God and believe that what you have need of is out there and that there's a yes out there somewhere.
Okay, and that being said, the one thing we want to say also is that be sure that evaluate, because if you can not afford it, then we have to think about what can we do to invest in ourselves to get us to a point that we can afford our needs. And if you can afford it, that will take us into another topic of now, since I can take care of my needs, what else can I add on? And there's some more important things that you will need to add on that we haven't discussed in this topic. And we'll get to those. But next week, we'll talk about exactly what Manisa said. What percentage of the budget should go to what category? So we'll definitely talk about that. As always, in leaving, we want to tell you, if you want to reach out to us, you can get us at pennieswithapurpose@gmail.com for our email, or you can go to
www.pennieswithapurpose.com.
And we would love for you to like, comment, and let us know that you're enjoying the videos. If there's something you want us to discuss, some more that you want us to bring to you, just let us know. We will be glad to do it. And as always in leaving, if you don't tell your money where to go,
you will wonder where it went.
Thank you guys. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you next week. Have a great week.